was like, sorry, honey, I don't know what you're gonna do for dinner, and then I left.
Can you hear us, Mike? Ryan?
I can hear you.
You can
Hello,
hear
good
us.
evening.
Good. That's a
Yep.
step
I
in
can
the
hear
right
you too,
direction.
David.
Oh, sounds like Michael might be. You can hear us too?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Oh, good.
Oh, we have a new planning commissioner? Oh, no, you're just in shadow. I can't see anymore.
Okay. And we have one attendee. Is Renee planning to join us, do you think, Jeffrey?
I think she is.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, we are back in that happy situation where we outnumber the audience.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, well, I think,
Recording in progress.
oh, okay. Okay, so I'll just open a regular meeting of the Planning Commission. Can we do a roll call?
Chairman Harper.
Here.
Chairman Mojo, Vice Chairman Mojo.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Witt. Commissioner Barnes.
Here.
Commissioner Gordon.
Present.
Commissioner Gross.
Here.
Commissioner Shanahan.
Here.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is a public comment on the consent agenda or presentations. We actually have one attendee, Jay Slater. Can he hear me? You can hear me. Mr. Slater, if you want to comment on something other than the ordinance amending the Superior Municipal Code for planned developments that we're discussing later this evening, now would be your chance to do it. If you want to comment on that, I suggest you hold your comments until we have the public hearing on that agenda item. Do you have is there something you'd like to comment on now?
Tell him to raise his hand.
If so, perhaps you could help us by raising your hand. Okay, I'm not seeing any raise. Oh, yes, you have raised your hand. Please carry on.
I have no comment on this, so I was just raising my hand to let you know that I don't have a comment on that.
Well, at least we can see that the raise your hand feature is still working. Okay, fine. So the next item is the approval of the minutes from our meeting on February the 17th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve them?
I will make a motion to approve.
We have a proposal and a second. Could we have a roll call?
Okay. Chairman Harper.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Mojo.
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Commissioner Barnes.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Abstain.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Shanahan.
Yes.
The ayes have it.
Very good. The next item is the public hearing on the ordinance amending Article 10 of the Superior Municipal Code. Is there proof of publication? Yes, okay. Do you want to make a presentation, Renee?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Renee Stavros, Planning and Building Director for the town.
I don't think we're hearing you very well.
You
At least I'm
can't,
not.
how about now? Is that better? Okay, I'll lean forward. This is my least favorite microphone. So this evening, we're going to look in at this proposed ordinance amending Article 10 of Chapter 16, specifically Section 16-10-30. We're adding a new section, Section F. Specifically, the purpose of this is to amend the process for PD amendments in the code, because currently there's a gap for PD plan areas that are controlled by covenants, but not represented by a homeowner situation. So really, the other scenarios under Section 1 kind of exist today as a means to do an amendment to a PD. But Section F, there is nothing for a PD zoned neighborhood that has covenants but doesn't have an HOA to represent them. So that's kind of how this amendment came to be. Under F, in a PD zoned neighborhood that doesn't have an HOA management company to process a PD amendment on the behalf of the homeowners, a resident can apply for a petition to the town to amend their PD under the scenarios or through the process outlined in this ordinance, I through B, so 1 through 5. They have to do a valid petition. It has to include the name and mailing address of the applicant seeking the plan amendment. They have to have owners of at least 25 properties or 10% of the properties within the PD, whichever is less. The petition itself has to set out in full the proposed PD plan amendment so that people who are signing know what they're signing on to. And then the 4 and 5 are more along the processing sides of things on how to submit it and how we approve it as a petition to the town. So that kind of that's really all I have to say about it. Is just like we were missing this opportunity for residents in neighborhoods that fit this situation. And so by amending the code, we are creating a pathway for residents in a neighborhood that are zoned PD but without an HOA to apply for a PD amendment. And that's all I got.
I'm not sure I actually opened the public hearing, did I?
I thought you did.
You
but
thought I did?
maybe
Okay, fair enough.
You did
We'll
it.
take it as done,
Okay.
or I can do it again. I'll open the public hearing. Fine. Now, does anyone have any questions for Renee?
I know this applies to Sagamore. Are there other locations that you know of off the top of your head?
Not that I'm aware of currently. That doesn't mean that one won't, like, that sometimes HOAs dissolve over time. So Currently, it's just Sagamore that doesn't have an HOA management company.
But
But that
how would
doesn't,
this apply to places like the marketplace that has a PD? Huh?
they have the owner of the marketplace can apply for a PD amendment on behalf of the
But
marketplace.
there is no one owner of the marketplace.
Well, so Costco owns its own property, so they could apply for amendment to their final development plan. It depends, I suppose, should,
And then there's Superior Plaza as well. That's a PD.
correct, yeah. So those are, those properties are owned by a company who manages them, who would typically apply for the PD amendment. So for the marketplace, if it's not Costco or Target, or some of the other ones that have individually owned parcels, the Brixmore, who's the owner of the marketplace as a whole, applies for PD amendments. And even if Costco wanted to amend the PD itself in the marketplace, they would go through Brixmore because their property is part of the larger Brixmore marketplace development.
So it would be a PD that doesn't have a homeowners association or a managing
Yeah, entity.
owner in there? Okay.
Hypothetically, how many homes, what's the fewest number of homes that could have a PD? I mean, could you have
So
like 10? I mean, could,
the code has a PD, like if you want to zone in as a planned development, you have to have a certain number, a certain size. There, it's in the code. Jeffrey, do you recall?
I believe it's 2 acres is the minimum.
Right. So a lot size of 2 acres, you can create a PD. And then there, I don't know that there's a minimum number of units or type of development.
so this could apply to 10 or 12 homes, hypothetically,
It's
on
possible.
2
and-
acres.
Yeah. Well, you would need,
It
so
wouldn't be a PD.
yeah, you wouldn't have a PD in that instance, but
But if there was 10, it could be one person, would be 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Stole
no.
your thunder.
No, not at all. Yeah, I feel like that's a consideration.
I think that's an important consideration.
Well, that means they can bring it. Doesn't mean that the other 9 people couldn't show up to the meeting. They're just saying that
That's
someone
right.
can bring, it's not that they have
But then,
authority over
yeah.
the property.
Right,
It's just they can bring it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for our HOA, if we want to change the covenants, codes, and restrictions, you have to get 67%. You have to get 2/3 of the people to agree to do it. Huh? Frankly, I think that's a much better number because, I mean, when we were buying the property, we looked carefully at what the covenants, codes, and restrictions said, and if we thought that if we thought that 10% of the people, we have 53 houses, 58 houses, 58, I think.
Yeah.
So in theory, six houses getting together could ask for a change. And I mean, we have had people propose changes, but they've never been able to get to the 67% limit, which the rest of us have been actually quite glad about. So I mean, did somebody at Sagamore, is Sagamore proposing this? I mean, who came up with this idea?
So there was an occasion where someone wanted to do something in Sagamore, but they were unable to because there was no avenue for them to pursue a PD amendment unless the town brings it on behalf of the neighborhood, which is not the best. I don't know how to say that. Like, it's just not, it's not the best process.
I mean,
We should have a requirement in our code
Yeah.
outlining how this can
I mean,
take
my
place.
recollection is that Sagamore did have an HOA and voted to dissolve it, didn't they?
There was never one established.
I mean, it was.
They have covenants,
that
and
they-
it was
I mean, it existed in principle, it just never existed in practice.
correct.
This just gives standing to individuals then, right?
It gives a pathway for any neighborhood that's zoned PD that doesn't have a management company or some other way of, some other entity
Yeah,
that
to
like,
bring it for them.
that
So,
can bring it for them, to initiate a PD amendment.
Are there examples of an HOA bringing like covenant issues forward for a PD amendment, like kind of small scale covenant changes?
Not, so covenants, the HOA would change on their own. They don't go through the town, but like if you wanted to make a change to the PD, like the actual zone district, then I don't know that Superior has seen that per se. We've had changes, PD amendments take place during the development process, which is typically done by the developer of the properties. So I don't like, and because all of the other developments have HOA, have then established their HOAs, the HOA would be responsible or for managing that process and bringing it should they want to.
Would this process apply to Town 15 if we needed to make, like rezone that?
If it were rezoned to a PD and then no management and
Because is it part of the Rock Creek PD?
it is, but it depends on how it got developed, whether, like, it would, if it is part of the Rock Creek HOA, then the HOA does it. But like, for instance, for Bell Flatirons, they follow the Rock Creek Plan Development zoning, but they aren't tied into the same covenants and restrictions and HOA as the individual property owners in Rock Creek. So there's a difference.
I think that's true of the Summit as well, isn't it?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like Sagamore came with their fences that they wanted changed, which I think was part of their PD, right? Why did we hear it?
There was nothing about fences.
After the Marshall fire, the Sagamore PD was created by the developer of Sagamore. And so in order to facilitate the rebuilding process, the town initiated two PD amendments on residents' behalf in order to facilitate rebuilding, because otherwise, like, the KB homes elevation plans were still part of the actual PD itself. And so you couldn't rebuild the exact same house that was built.
Yeah, I'm just bringing this up as an example of something that could, and when we have changed their PD a couple times to facilitate the rebuild, but if someone wanted to kind of come in and facilitate, although we did pull out a lot of the restrictions that people might want to change at this point.
So I'm trying to think of other, like, if the HOA decided they wanted to change, like, setback requirements, so because sometime in the future, we all want to have, something in the back of our house. Maybe because of ADUs being allowed, everyone wants to build ADUs, but they want fewer setbacks. And the HOA initiates an amendment to the PD to reduce rear setbacks on lots throughout their subdivision, because that would allow people more space to build ADUs. I don't know. That's just like a super hypothetical. I'm trying to think of an example of like something that might make sense, like that you can conceptualize for that purpose.
And even if someone brings this forward, it doesn't mean it's going to get approved. It just means
No.
it would be heard, and then
It would
other
go through
people
a
in
PD
that.
amendment process just like anything else.
Would they have to, like, I guess, advertise that it's being changed under their neighbors' noses?
So if it's a PD amendment that requires a public hearing process, then yes. If it's an administrative PD amendment that fits the criteria for administrative amendment, then no. That would be unlikely. Those PD amendments are usually there's a whole set of criteria that you have to meet to do an administrative amendment. And it can't affect lots of things. Heights, setbacks, building coverage, all kinds of things.
Ryan, do you have anything, like questions you'd like to ask or comments you'd like to make?
Did David call on me? His mic's muted.
Your mic.
I'm sorry, Ryan. No, I hope you can hear me. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I can now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, you all have answered or asked the questions I had about this. I think, as I'm just looking at consideration of the numbers and percentages required to trigger this, Renee, do you have any more context of why those numbers specifically were?
We had
established?
a discussion in a work session with the council, and this was generally the numbers that they thought sounded reasonable, so that's the numbers that we are using. I have nothing beyond that.
That's great. That's great context. Thank you.
Mike, yeah.
David, did you mean me or Michael at the,
Which
Michael did you mean?
It's you.
Oh, it is me. Okay, thanks. I guess my questions certainly are addressed too, and I guess I'm trying to figure out, and again, this seems to be Sagamore is the best example of how this could come about. If someone from Sagamore, I guess if 17 homeowners in Sagamore signed something and came to us for a PD amendment, I guess at the public hearing, I'd want to know what most other residents of the neighborhood thought. So I'm kind of like what you said, Commissioner Harper, that the 10% just seems way too low, and it should be, and I'd suggest it should be somewhat a high hurdle too, because everyone who originally bought there was the PD that controlled the rules of the neighborhood. And if someone, it doesn't seem right that 10% could propose a change. So I almost kind of think too that it seems like it should be a very high standard, maybe even certainly 50%, but maybe 67%.
Okay. David?
I think the 10% threshold makes sense. This is essentially just a way for people to petition the council for a change. It still has to go through the process.
Yeah, there's still a hurdle of like, you have to prepare an actual application for a PD amendment, which isn't necessarily like the most simple process. You need the application, you need the PD amendment, document, you need a narrative explaining what your PD amendment, does and is for and why you feel that it makes sense. And then you have to bring it to you all and the council for a public hearing, presumably.
Yeah, I think these larger percentages, like 2/3, are really to enact changes.
Sorry?
A larger percentage, 2/3 of property owners, that's to enact changes to covenants. as opposed to a 10% threshold, which is simply to get the matter heard.
Correct. That's a good clarification.
Okay. We have, do I need, I guess I should leave the public here. We have two people online, Jay Slater and Ryan Welch. Welcome back, Mr. Welch. If you'd like to comment or have any questions, please raise your hand. Okay. Mr. Welch.
Sorry, it takes a second for that to come through. I don't really have any questions. I'm really just trying to learn what this even means and looking, I'm right now in the municipal code, reading all about Article 10 and Chapter 16 about plan development. So it's really more educational for me about what these are and why someone might bring it forward. So I'm just enjoying your debate on this. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any more questions for Renee? No? In that case, I think I can close the public hearing, can't I? Okay. Okay, public hearing is closed. Do we need any further discussion?
I was just going to say that I agree with David.
Yes.
That bringing the matter, like the 2/3 seems like overkill, because an HOA can just change their covenants and they need the 2/3. Where this is not changing it, it's just getting it heard by the town to consider it. So I think the 10% or 25 properties is reasonable.
I feel like 10% might be a tad low, given that it could be a very small number of homes, properties affected in a PD. If a PD can be 2 acres, I wouldn't want a situation where one person could drive. I feel like, even if there were 2 people. Just,
If you increased it, but if you increased it to 20% and then there was only a 5, like
yeah.
And I feel like if there's only 10 people living there, they're probably going to talk, and
One would hope.
one person's not going to get away with it.
It has to be, you have to notify people that you're doing it, so the 9 other people would show up to the meetings.
Yeah.
So it's just a way to give standing to an individual or individuals without a larger entity above them to petition for a change. It's not enacting anything. It's just.
Yeah.
And just because this says 10%, if there's 10 people, someone can get 5 anyways and say, hey, 50% of our is, that would be smart. If they wanted it approved, they would get more than the 10%.
Right.
In a small.
I do think it's important to give people standing, so they can bring something forward.
I must say, I still think 10% is too low. I mean, 67% might be too high, but 10%, because then everybody, if people don't like it, even going through the process, yes, they can go through the process, but going through the process is time consuming for staff, it's time consuming for the city council, it's time consuming for us. Even thinking about Sagamore, Sagamore, at least during the time they were recovering from the fire, was actually pretty united. They had a group of people there who were working on the amendments that they wanted on. I think fences was a big issue, wasn't it? No? Mm-hmm. And so I think if they want to do something to amend the PD, if it's something that they, as a group, want to do, that's fine. But I don't think 10% of the group is really enough. 30%, 40%, maybe 30% would be enough. I mean, in Sagamore, that'd be 50 or 60 people. If 50 or 60 people want to do it, then I can believe that there's real pressure to get it done. And in Sagamore, which is apparently really going to be the only, or at least for the foreseeable future, the only PD that this really applies to, they've never had trouble getting 50 or 60 people to agree to anything that they want to do. So I think I'd go for 30%, but I wouldn't go for anything lower.
But, I mean, we have things brought in front of the board with like 200 people in a town of 15,000. Like, I mean, when you get to percentages, it all just matters on the group size. Because I think, yeah, for people, and we get surveys for our master plan where we were only getting like 5% of the town and making decisions on that. I mean, I think it's all about people, you know, you can't force people to get involved.
No, but amendments to PDs hit people more directly than comments in the comprehensive plan. I mean, as Mayor Laces said, the comprehensive plan is aspirational. It takes quite a lot to turn any of those aspirations into an actual plan. The plan development is something that, I mean, as I said, I looked when we were thinking of buying our house in Cold Creek, I looked at what the plan development said, I looked at what the covenants said, and what it took to change them. And I would feel very uncomfortable if I thought 10% of my neighbors would be enough to go change the PD.
It's only.
But it's not getting a change, it's bringing it up for a change. And then, because they would come here and then we would offer advice for what town council should do. So it's not that they're actually enacting anything.
No, even if they bring it, that means I've got to, if I don't like it, I've got to come and oppose it, and then I've got to hope that the council will share my view on it. And I mean, what do if 10% of the people propose it, do I have to get 20% of the people to oppose it?
So why is
just seems like a crazy number to me.
Why is that better or worse than having one entity? Because just one person from an owner of the full property with an HOA can come here and change it.
Sorry.
So if we're not doing it for this without an HOA or something where there's an overarching management company, one person at the management company can just come here and change it for all the people who are beneath them.
Well, everybody who's in that PD knows what the rules are, and the rules haven't changed since they.
But the rules could be changed by the property management if just the owner of the property management company says, I want to change.
Well,
so that's one person changing it.
No, that's fair. That might be true, but everybody who bought into that property knew what the rules were when they purchased when they invested in that property. What we're doing here is we're really proposing to change the rules after the event. No. I mean, there's actually nothing to stop Sagamore going out and recreating its own HOA if it really felt like it. I mean, I don't think they want to do that, but if they want to do things that would normally be covered by an HOA board, then I think they ought to show that, then I think it's reasonable to ask them to show that it has a substantial amount of support, not just the bare minimum amount of support. And I personally think that 10% is the bare minimum. I'm not even sure, actually, I don't even think 10% is a bare minimum.
I would not vote to change a PD unless they had what seemed like the majority of support, even though I'm hearing it from them, from the 10%. If there was people coming in and I thought they didn't have a majority, I wouldn't, because it will come to us, right? The PD amendment. And I'm saying that I wouldn't choose to approve something people who had bought property with certain expectations that would carry more weight than a minority that wanted changes. So I think that they still have their protections because their protections are us.
And you're still able, once they bring it up here, to say no. I don't agree with
All I'm
the state.
saying is that before we get into the process at all, which is going to take time and effort on various organizations' part, there ought to be some evidence that there's broad support for whatever the measure is. And basically, I don't think 10% is broad support. Okay, I'm not asking for I'm very comfortable with the 67% requirement to change the covenants in our particular development.
But that's actually change it.
Yes, that's right. You actually change it. But before anybody gets into the process, I think it makes sense to say, okay, before we start this process, you have to be able to show that there's a reasonable amount of support for it in the neighborhood you're proposing it for. I think 30% would be a reasonable amount. I don't think 10% is a reasonable amount.
Well, we can vote on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we can. I mean, we will vote on it.
Can I ask Renee another question?
Oh, sure.
So when town staff is debating language changes like this, do you look at other similar-sized communities to see what their standards are? Do you, in effect, do a precedent study to find out if there's consensus with like a 10% threshold?
I'm trying to think. This has been a long process to get to this point, so I don't remember what other communities do. I know that over the course of the last year or so, we've looked at what other communities do, but I don't remember if this 10% or 25 properties, I don't know if there's a precedent for this particular number. We went back and forth through lots of iterations in order to get to this number, so I didn't go back and look after the initial, what do other neighborhoods do? Generally, there's an avenue in other jurisdictions for this to occur, but that number, I don't know what that number is in other jurisdictions. So before I go to council, I will look at that because that's a great question and I don't have a good answer.
Yeah, you can build support for your proposal by referencing what other entities have done.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want any more questions, comments, discussion? No? Michael? Ryan?
I've got no other questions.
You done? Mike?
I guess just one further comment, kind of echoing what Commissioner Vaughn was saying. If this came to me as a planning commissioner to vote on it, my first question would be, well, how many of the homeowners, or do the majority of the homeowners approve this or want this? And if they didn't have an answer, I'd vote against it. But if they said, gee, we've got 51% supporting it, and it didn't seem like there was anything really awful they were doing, I'd vote for it. So I guess, I said the 2/3 before, approval to bring it to us before, but I think seeing how I would vote on it, I'd probably say if it were 50%, I support it. And I realize that's a much higher bar than was being proposed. But again, that's just how I would vote on it if it came to us. If there wasn't 50% support by the community, I'd vote no.
I would too. So what you're really, I think, saying is that unless they can demonstrate 50% support for it, it's not going to get passed. So why would we get started down that path anyway?
Well said.
David, I think you made a good point that if the threshold is very low, somebody could eat up a fair amount of time with town staff, town council, planning committee. There's a lot of work involved. And one downside of the 10%. is we could just get frivolous stuff that town staff is forced to address.
Yeah. I don't think the people who live in Sagamore are frivolous generally. I mean, no, I know you're not. But so, I mean, I'm not trying to suggest that they are frivolous, but I'm just trying to, I'm repeating myself. I'm just saying that I think there ought to be evidence of a substantial support for whatever change is being proposed.
Yeah,
Before we get into the process.
We say that, but like, think about the development across the street. More people came here saying we don't want it than we want it, and we didn't vote it down. So it's actually like, it's just hard hearing saying like, I'm gonna ask what percentage do you have approving this, what percentage of this, when more people show up here saying, no, we don't want something, but we don't then take it into account. Like, think about even just the development that was here what was that, last month for the north of Guardian Storage. Like, same thing. All the homeowners that were around that came here were like, I don't know if we should really talk about it too much.
I think there's a difference between a development that is still planned and under discussion and a development that's being changed, that people have already bought into.
I just still think the biggest thing is the 10% versus just one business entity. You give more power to a business entity than a homeowner.
Yeah, and I feel like with an HOA, like one homeowner could come and suggest something at one of their meetings, you know, and they can bring their whatever they want up in that meeting to have it discussed. And they're allowed to do that. This is the same thing. Like, it's just allowing someone an avenue to discuss something. It doesn't mean it's going to get approved.
Well, I think that, but there's a difference between a homeowner taking something to the HOA board, which only involves the HOA board, and then the HOA board has to make a decision as to whether they think it's a good idea, and if they do think it's a good idea, what communication they're going to have with the rest of it. And somebody coming directly to the town with a change. I mean, Renee never hears about half the proposals that come to our HOA board, and I'm sure she's very glad about that.
Yeah, but this, I mean, it's not like this is a low hurdle.
Yeah, it's not like it's just showing up and saying, hey, I want to change this. You have to put in a full recommendation for a PD change. Yeah. It's not just, I need a difference. I'm bored today. Let me write one up. And the thing is, there is no HOA, so there's no way for them to come here and talk to us without that. And I don't know. I think the main sticking point is the 10% or not, and I think everyone has their own views on it that are pretty entrenched already, so it's just voting on it.
Yeah.
I think, I think we are, unless anybody has, if anybody has a new aspect on this that they'd like to comment on, that would be good. Otherwise, I think we are getting to the point where we're mostly repeating ourselves. Huh? Okay. Are we ready to vote on it? Yes. Okay. We need a roll call, right? No?
Yes, roll call vote, please.
Let's do a roll call.
And he can.
Sorry, of course we do. We need a motion, yes.
Yes.
Would somebody like to make a motion to, I guess we should be making a motion to approve this, should we?
Approve as is.
Actually,
Yeah.
we should be, we're not making.
We could just vote amongst ourselves.
Sorry. We're just making a recommendation. Do we need a motion for the recommendation?
I think you can make a motion making the recommendation. So I think you can do both. And I would say, I would just read the title of the ordinance when making the motion.
I think we should take an informal vote, just as just what percentage do you think is acceptable?
Okay, I'm happy to do that.
All right, who's good as is? I'm good at 10%.
I'm good at 10%.
I'm good at 10%.
I'm not good at 10%, but that's okay.
What about,
It's the two online that.
Mike, how are you?
Sorry, I'm still at 50%.
Your Mike's at 50%. Ryan,
I'm good with 10%.
you're good with 10%.
So we're split. No.
no, it's
No.
4 versus 4.
Yeah.
It's 4 versus 3. I mean, I'd join the 50% number for this.
Say 30, please.
But 10% has the majority, right?
10% already has a majority.
So then
I want to
10%
hear what
Yeah.
Ann has to say.
Yeah, I don't object to the 10%. If I were writing this, I would have selected, I don't know, 20 or 25%.
Yeah.
Just a little higher threshold,
I'd
but.
have gone for 30. I'd have gone for 30. 30 was the sort of number that seemed to me to be a reasonable starting point. But that's okay. That's why we have members. Okay. So now we've taken a straw poll. Would you like to move to a recommendation?
I move to recommend it as is.
Okay. Can we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. In that case, I think we can move to a roll call. Is that right? Good.
Chairman Harper,
No.
Vice Chair Mojo,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Barnes,
No.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Yes.
Commissioner Shanahan.
Yes.
All right, yeses have it, 5-2.
Okay. Do I actually sign anything when it's just a recommendation?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's good. I noticed that actually we usually have an update section on the agenda. Did you leave it off on purpose so that we could finish more quickly, or was it just an oversight?
No, I just didn't add it. The only update I have is that we do have our next planning commission meeting on the 17th of this month in order to review an annexation and a zoning for the Colson property off of 3rd Avenue, the town purchased.
Oh, okay.
The property kind of behind, there's like a,
It's between 3rd Avenue and the creek.
correct, yes.
It's between 3rd Avenue and the creek. Yeah.
And did the town purchase the land already?
Yes,
Okay, but we would have to annex.
but it needs to be annexed into the town and zoned.
Zoned. Got it.
So that'll be the next meeting, and then we just keep putting the food hall off by one meeting every time that we're just still waiting. It is still coming. We have talked to them. It is coming. It is just taking longer than they thought.
Is there any activity from Carmel?
Yes, they're still moving forward with their annexation.
Sorry.
For the 76th Street parcels. Yeah, they're still working towards their annexation proposal.
End of April?
I don't know when.
Oh, okay.
Probably soon, like within maybe the week, it sounds like. But there's a petition that they have to do the full petition and then all the various notification processes. It's a state statute process for the annexation piece, and then the zoning will come at the kind of the same time in separate public hearings, just like we did for gardening and storage last year.
Okay. And I was trying to catch the town council meeting, the work session yesterday, to hear what the story on the Boulder County Housing Authority proposal for the marketplace might be, but I got home too late, so I missed it. Was there anything on that?
They just wanted to kind of revisit what happened then, and then we are going to reach out to Boulder County Housing Authority and see what that process might look like if they were interested, and how, timing and what, I don't know, just kind of like a feeler of what does that look like. That was kind of the direction.
So it sounds like it's the town reaching out to the housing authority rather than the housing authority reaching out to the town.
Yeah, just to see if they're interested in what, you know, what that process might look like and how long and, yeah. There's lots of questions, but it wasn't like a don't reach out to them. It was a maybe reach out and see what they say and find out, get more information.
Okay. Very good.
Do you remember with that RTD proposal, whether any of that was going to be family-oriented housing? Or is it all going to be smaller units?
There was a mix of units in that one, but I don't remember what the mix was.
Were there any things like playgrounds or anything that would indicate it would be child-friendly?
They had amenity space. There was like, wasn't there? There was like
Well, there's a
proposed,
Chuck E.
like,
Cheese over there.
right. I feel like there was like a bike shop or like a bike tech thing that they were proposing. Like it was a thoughtful proposal, and it was focused on some families. Do you remember, Jeffrey?
I don't remember the amenities specifically, but I do remember it had amenities, and I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't build something that wasn't family oriented.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't remember for sure.
Okay. I only ask because of the BBSD issues that
Yeah.
we,
I mean, that was part of why
Yeah.
they wanted to hear it to begin with, I think.
Yeah.
I'm presuming.
yeah.
I think that staff would have that question for them for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions or any more suggestions?
Tomorrow's groundbreaking, is that at the Civic Center or is it at the site?
It's at the civic space, but then we'll walk over for groundbreaking. And y'all got your invitations, I hope. Yes, okay, great. Yes. That's where it goes, yes.
You don't actually have to bring an invitation, do you?
No. Okay.
Can I say we're done? I can say we're done. Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Less than an hour.
Good night.